Well, hello, my fellow crocheters. Welcome to DDT Crochet. This is my first training video, so please be patient with me and be sure to send me some constructive feedback. Okay, so let's get started. Today we're going to make this colorful raffia flower bag, and you're going to need some handles. Your choice. I got these from Amazon, but you can get yours from wherever you want and whatever you like. You'll need some lining fabric. You'll need a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook, some scissors, markers, and of course the raffia yarn. Raffia is such a lightweight yarn, but it is rough on your hands and hard to pull through. You have to be very careful with it. So you got to bring patience to the table, okay? So you can make it plain like this one, or you can just stick with me and do a multicolor one, okay? So the optional materials, if you want to add a chain, snap, some O-rings, name tag, it's totally up to you, okay? On this particular bag, I did add a real funky lining and I added a chain and some O-rings, and I even put a little pin in here, right? Looks like a bee is in the flower. Ha! Anyway, let's get started, people. Okay, the very first color I'm going to use today is for the center of the bag, and I'm going to use the beige so that you can see it, because I used black on this side, but it is very difficult to see the crocheting part and hard for me to train on that black. So for now, we're just going to use this lighter color, and feel free to use black if you want to, okay? So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna get your yarn after you've rolled it from the hanks, right? Because you can't really crochet from the hank, so you have to roll a lot of balls. All right, here we go. So magic circle, that's the very first thing you're gonna do. Do a magic circle. You know how to form magic circles, hopefully. I am not really a trainer, but I'm definitely not a beginner trainer. So I know you guys can work this out. Just do your little magic circle, and you're gonna chain up 2. All right? Because the very first row is half double crochets, but every row after that for the base of the bag is gonna be double crochets. So the first one, which is 2 chains, is gonna count as 1 half double crochet. So I'm gonna make 11 more to become a total of 12 at the end of this row. So wrap, go under, you know how to do this. Pull through, half double crochet. So that really makes 2, right? So we're gonna do the third one, the fourth one, the fifth. I hope you can see this okay. And it's very hard, and I tend to pull pretty tight, which is why I use a larger crochet hook. You can use a 4.5 if you want, or something smaller. I think most of the time for raffia, they recommend like a 4.0 or 4.5, but my fingers are too big and I pull too tight, and I wind up destroying the raffia yarn. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so where were we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we're at 6, 7, 8, 9, holding this as tight as I can, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so you've got 12 half double crochets now, maybe. Do you want to get through here? Come on. You know you want to. You know you do. Jeez. Okay, 12. So once you get to through the 12th one, you're going to just pull the tail a little bit to tighten it up. Don't pull it too hard because it will break. I've done that before too. Some stronger than I know. So I'm going to do that. Then you've got these 12. Try to close up the hole as much as you can. And then remember the first 2 chains you made when you first started out after that magic circle? Well, we're going to go in the back loop of that second chain, right? So this is 1, 2. And we're going to go in that back loop. Oh, I'm sorry. Because, yeah, we're going to slip stitch it. So we're going to go in here and slip stitch in this back part of that chain 2. Pull it tight. I might have to keep pulling this tail to keep this tight. And then you're going to chain up 3 because you've got to, like I said in the beginning, make the rest of the base in double crochets. So you've got 3, that counts as your first double crochet, and you're going to make 2 double crochets in each chain, okay? So for a total of 24 at the end of this second row. So this first chain in that first back loop, we're going to go through there and we're going to add another one, right? So that will make us have 2 double crochets in the first chain. All right, so you got to do the back loop because you're going to need this front part for the petals, and we'll talk about that at a later point, but just make sure you go through the back loops, okay? So the second one, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go through the back loop. Sometimes I try to hide these tails early on because it becomes work. So that's 2. And the second chain, and then we're going to make another double crochet or 2 double crochets in the third chain, right? And you know how this works. So 2 double crochets here, and you're going to keep putting 2 double crochets in until you get to the end. And so meet me at the end, and we will talk about the third row and changing a color if you choose to change a color. Thanks. See you soon. Okay, I'm at the end of the second row, and I've counted, and I have 2 double crochets in each chain from the first row. And so it's a total of 24. So you should have 24 double crochets. And this time you're going to go in the top of the third chain, which is right here, and you're going to go in the back of that chain. And you're going to slip stitch, but before you slip stitch, you're going to change colors. So remember, my next color is going to be orange. So I am going to attach the orange, and I'm going to slip stitch, okay? So here, we're getting ready to start the third row. So each row, keep this in mind, is 12 additional double crochets from the previous row. It's up to you how big you make your bag. I think this bag is about 9 inches around, and that's big enough for me. I've seen people make them bigger and I've seen people make them smaller. So you just have to decide. Just keep in mind that each row is going to gain an additional 12 double crochets. So if you start the row with 2 double crochets, this third row, right? Let me just tie this off because it's about to be annoying to me. My fat hands, sorry you guys, I have big hands. So we did that, pull that through. I'm just trying to tie this together so I can get it out of the way. And we can cut this one off because we're done with that beige, right? So anyway, here we go. Gonna grab this long piece. We can weave in all of this later. And you're gonna do the same thing you did for the second row to start off. You're gonna put 3 chains here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then staying in that back loop, gonna do another double crochet, right? Double crochet. Then instead of doing 2 double crochets in the next one, you're gonna do 1, and you're gonna alternate 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, until you get to the end. And this time you'll have 36 double crochets, okay? So you're gonna do 1 double crochet, and that chain, the next chain, you're gonna do 2 double crochets. Let me get the second one. Raffia is not my friend sometimes. Okay, 2, 1, 2, etc. Okay, so just remember that 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around, and I will meet you at the end of the third row when you have 36 double crochets. Okay, so your third row should look similar to this. I have 36 double crochets. I ended up with 1 double crochet in the last chain. And I'm going to make another row out of this orange. So to make the row out of the orange, you know what to do. I mean, to make another row, you know what to do. You go in the back loop of the third chain, right? Back loop of the third chain. Get with the program. Okay, I'm sorry. I talk to myself. Kind of fuss myself out sometimes. Oh, there's the back loop. Anyway, and then you're gonna do a slip stitch. You're gonna chain 3, and you can probably tell me what's next, right? So you chain 3, and you're gonna go back into that same loop and make a double crochet. So the previous row you had 2, you alternated with 2, 1, 2. The previous, before that, on the second row, it was 2 chains, 2 double crochets in each chain. So this one, you're gonna start out with the 2. The next one is gonna be 1 double crochet. The third one is gonna be 1 double crochet. Then you're gonna start back over with 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, okay? So we did the 2 double crochets, and we're gonna do 1 double crochet, and we're gonna do 1 more double crochet. Then what do? We start back over doing 2 double crochets, right? You got it. Okay, and then we're gonna do 1 here. Ooh, Raffia. And 1 here. And then we're gonna keep going, and instead of me meeting you at the end of this one, well, why not? I'll meet you at the end, and then we can go to the white. All right? Now remember to stretch your hands as much as possible because raffia can be a little rough, and you know, crocheting can be a little rough on your hands as well. I know because I've been doing it for about 50 some odd years. So keep working on your hands. Anyway, I'll see you back at the end of row 4. Remember, 2, 1, 1, 2. Okay, so I lied. I'm still on the 4th row, but it just came to me that I need to check in with you so that you can check in to make sure that you can see these front loops, because we've been crocheting in back loop only, remember? So you want to make sure you do that so you can visibly see the front loops, because you're going to need those when you attach your petals, okay? All right, so just checking in before I finish 4th row. Okay, so we finished the 4th row. You should have 48 double crochets. 48 before we switch to the next color. My next color is going to be white. So I am going to do another slip stitch. We're going to go in the top of that 3rd chain in the top back loop. Just don't forget your back loops. And instead of pulling the orange through again, we're going to pull through the white. I don't know why I made up these colors, but I just thought they were cute. And like I said, it's my business. You guys do what you want to, and it'll be your business, okay? So, anyway, we're going to chain 3 again. And which one of the classmates can tell me what we're going to do next? I know you know. All right. So quit playing, Deborah. Quit playing, right? So we're going to do 2 back loops. And then because we did 2, 1, 1, 2 before, we're going to do 2, 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay, so you're going to, instead of having 2 single double crochets, is that a thing? That's kind of an oxymoron. I don't know. It doesn't sound right. But anyway, you're going to have 3. You're going to have a double crochet here, a double crochet here, a double crochet here, and then back to 2 double crochets. And then we're going to start over again. 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay? So I know you got this. And we're going to do that, and then the next row we're going to do 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. So 4 times before we switch over to doing 2 double crochets. We're going to do 4 single crochets. 4 single double crochets. Oh, that doesn't sound right either. You know what I mean, right? Okay, so 2, this one is going to have 2, 1, 1, 1. Actually, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 2. Okay, that's easier for me. Then we're going to do another row of white, and it's going to be 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 4 times, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 rows of white. I'm going to do 2 rows of green, and that's going to be it for me. That's going to be 72 double crochets. So that's going to finish basically the base part. We're going to do the sides when I return, but just stay in the back loop and keep the count accurate because you want to wind up with 72 double crochets. All right, my friends, see you soon. Okay, welcome back. We now have about 9.5 inches of the first side, or the second side. I've already done the first. So we're going to slip stitch, chain 1, and cut. Okay, then we're going to turn it on the wrong side, and from the center point, we're going to count 11 chains and place a marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? So This is 11. We're going to place a marker here. And then on the other side, we're going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're going to place another marker. And then we are going to take our green, and then you're going to go in the very next chain to the left, and you're going to pull your green through again. And this time you're going to chain 2, and you're going to make a half double crochet in that same stitch that you just chained 2. And you're going to make half double crochets all the way around until you get to the end of this row, or I should say till you get to the stitch before the other marker. And continue to make those half double crochets. They do not have to be in the back loop this time. Just go through the entire chain and meet me back at the end. Okay, we're back. We've reached the other marker. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to turn it over, and we're going to make single crochets in each chain. Okay, so just make single crochets in each chain all the way back to the other marker. Turn around and do it 2 more times. So in all, you're going to have 3 rows of single crochets. You know how to do that. Once you get to that finish that 3rd row of single crochets, meet me back, and we will start the petals, okay? Okay, so now we've finished, and we have the sides on, and so we are just going to start the petals now, but you have to do it on the right side of the base, okay? So looking at this one again, I'm going to start with yellow, then I'm going to do orange, white, green, okay? So let's grab the yellow yarn. And remember in the beginning when I was telling you that you had to make sure that this front loop is visible, right? Because you're going to need that. We're going to wind up making 3 petals to begin with. The yellow petals are going to be 3. Okay, but we're going to just find a loop, a front loop on the first row. Going to insert your crochet hook. Okay, let's get it together. You're going to pull through the yellow to begin with, right? And you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Do 3 more chains, or I'm sorry, 3 more double crochets in the very next loop. 1, 2, 3. And then you're gonna, the very next one, the 3rd one, you're gonna put 3 more loops, okay? So that's 1. Can hide all these tails later because they do become annoying. This is 2 double crochets, and this is 3 double crochets. Okay, so what you have is 9 double crochets total in the first 3 loops. You're gonna chain 2, and you're gonna turn it around, and in each of these loops, you're going to put 2 half double crochets, okay? So starting with that one, that's 1. This is 2. This is 3, 4. Go to the next loop, next chain, 5. Let's do it right. Oh gosh. 5, 6. Go to the next loop, 7. 8. Next loop, 9, 10. Next loop, 11, 12. Next loop, 13, 14. Next chain, 15, 16. And the last one, make sure you get that last one, 17, 18. Okay, so you should have 18. So you've got 9 double crochets for the first petal, and you've got 18 half double crochets for the first petal. And then you're going to go to, the very next loop, just to tie it down a bit. I like to tie mine down. And you're gonna pull through 1 and make a chain. I'm sorry, not make a chain, but a single crochet basically. And then you're gonna go back in here and make a single crochet in the top of each half double crochet. So you should have 18 when you finish, right? So just go ahead and do your 18 single crochets here, and then we're going to kind of tie off that first petal, and I'll show you how to do that when I get to the end. Okay, so just keep doing your single crochets. Once you get to the very last one, which I'm coming up on the very last one, this is 17, this is 18. Okay, so you've got 18 single crochets. Your petal should look similar to this, your first one. And then you're gonna go to the very next petal, and you're gonna double crochet. You're gonna go to the next petal, and you're going to slip stitch, okay? So you're gonna slip stitch. That completes your first petal. It's kind of cute, huh? First petal. And then in that same slip stitch, or the loop where you're gonna chain 3, and you're gonna do the same thing you did before. Basically, you're just gonna do chain 3 and put 2 more double crochets in this loop, 3 more in the next loop, and 3 in the next loop. So you'll have 9 total. Okay, so now I have 9 double crochets for my second petal. I'm going to chain 2, just like I did in the first petal, and I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to insert 2 half double crochets all the way across till I get to 18 double crochets. Okay, so this will make 2, etc. Just keep going. 2. Okay, so we have 3 petals. We still have a couple of loops left in there, but we are going to ignore those loops because this is only going to be 3 petals on this first row. Okay, so after you've made your 18th single crochet, you're going to come behind that first petal that you made and go over, I don't know, a couple of rows. I mean, yeah, I shouldn't say a couple of rows, a couple of double crochets, half double crochets. And you're going to do a slip stitch in the next row. Okay, so that next row, so that just tightens up your petals a bit. Gives you cute little beginner first row yellow petals. You're gonna slip stitch, and you're gonna carry that slip stitch to the orange row. So you're gonna wind up with 1 orange on your hook and 1 yellow, and then you're gonna switch over and connect your orange, because we're gonna start the row of orange petals on the orange row. So what I did, just so you know, is I skipped a row. So if you want your flower to be more full than this, and you don't mind adding all those rows with Raffia, my hands can't take Raffia but so much, right? So I do every other row, and the bag looks just as nice to me. So I just start every other row here. After this row, I'm gonna skip and put the white in this row, and then I'm gonna skip this white, and I'm gonna put the green in the last row. You're gonna end up with just green on that last row, right? Okay, so trying to see if I can explain this better. This is all in the way. So anyway, I have this the orange, and I've put it in that first loop, and you remember what we do. We chain up 3, right? And then in that same front loop, you're gonna add 2 more double crochets. Make sure I'm in that loop. Yep. Gonna add 2 more double crochets. And then you're gonna go to the next loop, and you're gonna put 3 here and 3 there, 3 double crochets. You know the routine. So do the 3 here, 3 there. Meet me before we get ready to go on to the second row of half double crochets. Okay, I'm at the end of the row, the first petal and the first row of orange. And I really need to get this yellow out of the way, so I'm just gonna clip this for now. Tuck it in later. Or, if you wanna do your tucking in the beginning, that's fine. I alternate. I just tie this up a little bit before I tuck it, because it keeps the stitches a little tighter. So we'll work on that one. So anyway, we finished the first row of the orange. And you know what we do, right? We chain 2, and we turn it around, and we put 2 half double crochets in each chain. So you'll have 18 half double crochets at the end. Then once you get to the end, you chain, well, let's go ahead and put the two half double crochets into each chain. Let's do that first. Okay, so I have 18 half double crochets in this first orange petal. So instead of going into the back of the third double crochet on this petal, this first petal, since this is the very first petal for the orange, and you'll do this for each first petal of each row that you do, you'll just go into the very next front loop and you will pull it through and pull it through like we have done before. You'll turn it and then you'll just make single crochets into the top of each chain. That means you'll have what? 18 single crochets by the time you get to the end. Let's do it. Okay, I'm at the end of the third row of the first orange petal, okay? So, instead of going in the next loop, we're gonna skip a loop this time and we're gonna go into the second one from the left, or from the right, you know. Anyway, we're gonna go into the second one and we're going to slip stitch like we've done previously. And then what do? We chain 3 and then we put 2 more double crochets here, 3 in the next one, 3 in the next one, right? Then we turn around and do 2 half double crochets in the top of those. And when you get to the end of the half double crochets, I'll be back. Okay, so we have 18 half double crochets, and you know what's next. We find the back of that first petal, right? Or the previous petal, and we wrap around and pull through. And then we turn it back around and we do single crochets all the way across. When you do that, finish those single crochets, then you skip the next loop, front loop, and you go to the second front loop and you pull up, well, you slip stitch and then you pull up 3 chains and start back over. You know the routine. So let's do that. Let's finish this row and I'll meet you at the end of the row of the orange petals. Okay, I'm back and I have 8 orange petals and I have on my last loop, I just finished the 18th single crochet and I have 4 front loops available. So I'm not going to put another petal on these loops, but you may if you'd like. I'm gonna skip one like I did before, and I'm gonna make a slip stitch in the orange, and I am going to kind of travel behind it, the next petal, and slip stitch around one of the double crochets just to kind of hide the end of it, right, before I change colors. So what did I do with it? I'm tired. Sorry, guys. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna go back behind the loop on the following petal. Just going to do a slip stitch or pull it through just so I can hide that end of that last petal. And then we're gonna sneak our way. Sometimes I do like a single crochet, and we're gonna sneak our way to that first white row, because once again, I'm skipping every other row, right? So I'm going to skip going to that white row. It would have been nice if I had straightened out this ball of yarn before I did all this. Okay, and I'm going to, sorry you guys, happens sometimes. I'm just going to attach this white piece, pull it through, and it's like a slip stitch there, and then we're gonna chain 3, right? So once we chain 3, you know what to do. You add 2 more double crochets here, 2 in the next, 2 in the next, right? And then you'll have 9. And I'm sorry, 3 in the next and 3 in the next. You know I'm tired, right? And you'll have 9. And then you'll do 2, pull up 2 chains, turn it, do 18 half doubles, chain 1, turn it, oh, I'm sorry, attach it to this. But let's just go through it, because I'm making this all complicated, and I'm only because I'm really tired right now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and double crochet 2 more here. And then I'm gonna go in the next front loop, and I'm going to double crochet 3 times. So what happens is you wind up with 1 row of yellow petals, 1 row of orange petals, 1 row of white petals, and 1 row of green petals. And the green petals are at the end, basically next to the last row. So I am going to be crocheting the white on this row. I'm going to skip, I'm sorry, and then I'm going to go to this first green row, and I'm going to finish off the rest of the petals. And usually when I get to the green row, instead of skipping 1 when I finish a petal, I'm gonna skip 2, okay? But I just, like I said, I get tired. So you may want it to be more full than this, and you don't have to skip 2, but I'm gonna skip 2. You can skip 1, just like we've been doing. And so after you do, you know what the routine is. If not, you can rewind a little bit. I don't wanna take up too much of your time here. After you make these last 3 double crochets, which will be 9 total, then of course you know the deal. Chain 2, turn, do half double crochets. So I'm going to finish this white row, and then I'm going to finish this last row, which is going to be green. And when I finish that, I'm going to come back and we will see where we are. All right, talk to you later. Okay, so we're back, and we have completed the row of white and green. This very last petal that I did, and yours may be different, I have a few front loops here, 1, 2, 3. So actually 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna put another petal there. I'm gonna go behind this next petal, and I'm just gonna wrap around that double crochet behind that petal. And I'm gonna slip stitch it and chain one, and then I'm gonna cut it, tie it off, all right? So then once I do that, I'm gonna weave in the ends, and you can weave in all the ends. Make sure you don't have anything sticking up through the front of the bag. I mean, however you weave ends in. I'm not a seamstress, but I know how to hide some things. So we'll do that. And once you got rid of that, voila. Okay, so that bag has to look like this bag basically, so we have to put a handle on it. And what I usually do, my handles, well, you may have your own way of doing handles, and that's perfectly fine. Matter of fact, you may even have different or chosen different handles than the one that I chose for this bag. But actually, I should have brought my other smaller crochet needle down here. But usually I just do a little wrap and make 20 crochets here, single crochets after you pull that. Just do 20 of these. Sorry, arthritis is really working my nerves today. And then once you finish wrapping your handle so that it kind of looks like that, then you just sew the handle on between the markers, right? And then once you get the handle on, you will put the bag together. And what I do is I just pin the bag and then sew through each of these chains, adjoining chains, all the way around the bag. So we can do that. And meet me back here probably one last time, all right? Okay, here we are. I have put the sides together, and I added a chain, and I added a lining, and I hope you like it. I hope it works for you. Please remember to subscribe to my channel. This is my first video, so I promise I will get better. And hit the like button if you like it. And be sure to provide me with some feedback, because if you don't do that, I won't be able to get better, okay? Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.